Over in Ireland, a woman died because she was being denied an abortion. She was 31 years old. She was having issues with the baby. She went in there for an abortion because the baby was not going to make it. And they told her that, well, this is a Catholic hospital.
In a Catholic country?
In a Catholic country. And basically, she's one, she's not Catholic. Two, she's not Irish. So that should not have applied. When you force your beliefs on other people like that, the results are fatal. And in this case, they were. The woman was in pain for 2 days because they refused to abort the child. Right? The baby's heart was beating for at least those 2 days. And when it finally stopped, they said, okay, since the baby's finally died on its own, we will now try to do this abortion for you. Now, this lady, she didn't go in there wanting to have an abortion. She wanted this child. She wanted to have this child. It's not like some people, they go and they claim that these women go out and they're like, oh, well, I'm just going to go have sex. And, oh, if I get knocked up, I'm just going to get an abortion and, be done with it. Like they think it's like the weekend abortion thing. They don't realize that a lot of these women that go and have abortions, they go through a lot of pain and stress trying to wrestling with this. And to tell this woman that she can't have an abortion when her life is in danger, the woman died of sepsis. I mean, that is one hell of a way to die. I mean, she was 17 weeks pregnant, unfortunately, at the time. And she had no choice. The doctors, like, my belief is more important than yours. And apparently, there are a lot of doctors nowadays. I'm not going to diss on all doctors on this, but in some cases, they push their religion before the patient, which fucking sucks. And it should be a crime. But a lot of them, they don't want to perform abortions because they're afraid that if they do and their hospital administration finds out, they're afraid they're going to be out of a job. So they're thinking of their paycheck and their religion before this. And these people, you stop fucking around with these people. And if the woman needs an abortion, fucking giving it to her, because it's not a constitutional right in Ireland. In the United States, it is. And that's all there is to it. When people's lives are at stake, I get a little pissed. I'm sorry. Crystal, your thoughts?
I think the saddest, and I know many of these happened as I'm glad this was brought to the world's attention, for one thing. Terribly sad, terribly sad. I mean, 17 weeks pregnant and had went to the emergency room with back pain. They determined that she's going to miscarry anyway. But because that is a largely Catholic country, and that their laws as of now from 1861 are that abortion is illegal in all cases except for when the life of the woman is in danger. Now, nature will have a way of getting rid of that fetus, just like it was trying to do with her. Mm-hmm. And it is safer for a woman to go ahead and abort that on her own than it would be to have a surgical procedure done. So I can almost see at the beginning them trying to see if her own body would do what it was doing anyway and go ahead and abort that fetus on its own. Apparently she was even denied pain medication for this. Mm-hmm. And they just let her sit there for days. A few hours would be an acceptable thing to see in a clinical setting, because again, it's a surgery if you're having to go in there and do it. But obviously the reasons for them doing that are solely because of those beliefs.
Yes.
And that is wrong. They are being investigated by the hospital. They're also being investigated by the Ireland's public health system, and I still don't think they're going to make a whole lot of headway, because Ireland still stands behind their position as that is a human life as long as it has a heartbeat. These people,
which is total bullshit.
Well, yeah, exactly. These people were from India, and that's where they had relocated in England and thought that was a great place to raise kids. And
not anymore.
They paid a price. It should always be the woman's life first. That woman's life should come first. Once they found that she was miscarrying, her body was not rejecting the fetus outside as it should have been, she should have been taken and given this abortion and it been done and over with. Yeah. She still would be here today. She was a live, vibrant, beautiful dentist Just heartbreaking. That's what scares me about anybody that starts to talk about taking those rights away in the United States. This is what you're looking at, folks. This is exactly what happened. And that's why it's so important for us to maintain that right to choose and a free right to choose.
On that note, in Mississippi, the governor down there has done everything he can to shut down the abortion clinics down there and basically made it impossible for them. I mean, and this is a constitutional right, and the government down there it's a different story, but you're hitting it right on the head that should be a woman's choice.
Right. And usually when that miscarriage starts to happen and the placenta and stuff will pull away from the uterus, usually that does stop the baby's heartbeat. I'm finding it hard to believe that their facts are actually adding up in this case. That over a 3-day period, they were really actually hearing an ultrasound fetal heart rate. But that just is totally, in my opinion, I don't think that you see that really at all. But I dare say, I guess it is rare. And I really still can't imagine that happening here, because the amount of suffering this lady went through is unreal. Unless you've ever been in labor, you'll never know it. And she suffered a horrible death.
Yes, she did.
And like you said, septicemia is another thing that is a terrible death. These people deserve to be locked underneath the prison, period.
Yes,
anybody that had anything to do with her medically that did not help her, they need to not ever see the light of day again.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree. They should be put in there. If they let this woman die, and they knew that they could have given her the operation, or not just operation, but the abortion that would have saved her life, they should be locked up. I think they should go to jail.
It should be, because that could have been taken care of, and the appropriate antibiotics started.
Yep.
And she could have went right on again to have her other children, mourn the loss of this child forever.
Yep.
But she would be here to have more children. She would still have, her husband would still have her here. We would still have a functioning, productive member of society here.
Yep.
And it was a total waste.
Yes.
Nobody should have a say in what a woman does with her body, period.
I agree.
In this case, there is no other choice.
All right, and the thing is, there's the abortion, the anti-abortion advocates out there say, well, think about how many people that are not going to be around because these people had abortion. They did a study on this, and the numbers don't add up. Their beliefs don't add up. Because these people, let's say a lady gets pregnant when she's 18, she's not ready for the child yet, so she goes out and she has an abortion. When she gets older, into her late 20s or 30s or whenever she decides to have a child, then she's still having that child. So there's no reason to say that these people, just because they're having an abortion now, doesn't mean they're not going to have a child later on.
No, absolutely not. And in this lady's case, like you said, this child was very much wanted, and they were devastated that she was losing this child.
Exactly.
But to let a heartbeat, or a supposed heartbeat, override an actual living human being in misery, it pisses me off to no end.
Yep,
this
absolutely.
Story has just bothered me since day one that I heard it.
Exactly. And and Dawkins Dog said in the chat room here, says, and it's all of this because of the Bible, which ironically doesn't even condemn abortions. There's nothing in the Bible about condemning abortions. In fact, there's a line of scripture in there that says, I wish I could remember the exact quote.
Babies against the rocks.
Yeah, crash the babies against the rocks. And it's like, God loves babies, huh? Sure.
Moses brings the angel to kill the firstborn. That includes the infants.
Yes, it does.
I mean, how pro-life is the Bible?
Exactly. The Bible is not pro-life. It's pro-death. Joe, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's really great that we have someone like Crystal on the show who's a medical professional who could explain so well this situation and how incredibly tragic it is. I mean, this woman's life could have been saved, and it wasn't. She was in a hospital. She was surrounded by doctors, and she could have been saved, but she was not because of religious belief.
Yeah.
And this is another example of how religious belief can affect not only a person's decisions, but those people use their religious beliefs and legislate them and turn them into laws. That affects everybody.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why we separate religion from the government here in America. It's because we can't all agree on what's right religiously. And so when you start mixing the two, that's when people start getting hurt. That's when religious belief really starts to do damage. You know, a lot of people say, well, why can't you just leave belief alone and let people believe what they want to believe? That's fine, so long as they keep it to themselves. But once they start making it into laws, trying to shut down Planned Parenthood clinics, like you were talking about down in Mississippi, and Wizard of Todd mentioned in the chat room down in Texas, it's just crazy. They're denying women vital healthcare services. This story has been buzzing all over Twitter. Everyone is talking about it. It's getting a lot of worldwide attention. And I think that's great, because I think if it gets a lot of attention, hopefully it could lead to some kind of reform in Ireland.
Oh, I hope so. But, you know, the way it sounds so far, they're like, just a woman. Women aren't worth anything. They're everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, some voices, yeah, but there is definitely a lot of global outrage. I mean, this is a story that it happened in a hospital in Ireland, and everybody in the world has heard about it. Yeah. I mean, that's just a testament to the information age, and hopefully, you know, I hope that it will lead to some kind of reform.
Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, it's got to. I mean, this is bullshit. It really is.
It is bullshit.